Hello. I will talk today about grieving and what people will go through when they're grieving. And in the next episode, I will talk about what to say to a grieving person and also what to do when you're accompanying somebody who is grieving. Now, contrary to common belief, normal grief can last for an extended period, and there is really no fixed timeline for its duration. The longing for the physical presence of your loved one will persist seemingly without end and obviously can last for a lifetime. And it's essential to grant yourself the time needed to heal and discover new ways to maintain that connection with your departed loved one. And with time, you will gradually experience less pain when recollecting those beautiful memories that you had together with the person you've lost. And you'll find ways to integrate your memories and also that connection with your loved one in your daily life while you exchange mentally with them. And the intensity of grief is closely tied to the relationship you shared with the person you have lost. There are really no set rules of how intense your emotions and pain should be or will be. Obviously, losing a child may evoke a different kind and sometimes more profound grief than losing an elderly parent to natural causes. But the depth of your grief is valid, regardless of whom you lost and regardless of the comparison. Now, remember that the experience of loss is subject to one of the most challenging life experiences a human can endure. And it may disrupt your life profoundly, leaving you feeling completely disorganized and profoundly shaken, which is absolutely normal. And the intense and profound pain can drain your strength and energy and sometimes force you to continue as if nothing has changed. And other people will continue as if nothing has changed. And it might upset you even more profoundly because you're in this deep pit and everyone else seems to just move on. Accepting the changes that accompany loss is obviously inevitable because, well, there is no other choice, right? And this includes letting go of shared plans and adjusting to life without your loved one. And this, of course, is extremely hard to accept. And if the emotional burden becomes too overwhelming, please seek help. There is worldwide communities that offer valuable service and support for those grieving. And sometimes it's good to be in a group and share your experiences with like-minded people. And it's tempting to seek shortcuts to avoid suffering, to avoid that emotional pain that you might experience right now. No one wishes to endure or witness suffering. However, with grief, there are no shortcuts. There is no shortcuts in the grieving process. The only way to navigate grief is to fully embrace it and to fully embrace the pain and the array of emotions that accompany it, no matter how uncomfortable or how unbearable they might seem. Whether you confront your grief head on or attempt to bury it beneath a mountain of work, you'll eventually need to face it. And the emotions you're experiencing are intense and demanding, but they are an integral part of grief. Now imagine them as waves crashing against the shore of a resilient lighthouse during a fierce storm. Initially, the waves strike relentlessly and violently, rushing up the lighthouse with unrelenting force. And over time, as the storm subsides, the waves grow calmer, with longer intervals between them and between each surge. Now, to me, this is an analogy that embodies the essence of grief. Grief is a perpetual presence. You'll always miss your loved one, and grief can unexpectedly wash over you, even when you believe you've moved past it. It could be years later, after you lost your loved one. A song, a memory, or a birthday can trigger that wave of emotion washing over you. And that's entirely normal. That's why grief is a process, and it will last a lifetime. But as with the analogy with the waves, they will become more settled. Take life one step at a time. As the spaces between intense emotions widen and the waves become gentler, seize those moments to live life at best. And celebrate those moments of happiness, no matter how fleeting they may be in the early stages of grief. Eventually, you'll experience more extended periods of joy. This might seem impossible in the midst of a violent storm, but that day will come. You might find solace in forming connections with individuals who have experienced similar losses, and shared experiences can foster profound understanding from people who have gone through a similar experience as yours. Grief might also spark a desire to explore your spirituality and where you stand on matters with your own faith. Perhaps you'll seek to validate the continuation of life after death through talks, books, or any other explorations that you feel drawn to. Even if you have had a profound spiritual experience and were fortunate enough to have your deceased loved one appear to you, be it in a dream or in a visual, objective experience, grief will always remain a part of your journey. Now, as a medium, I understand that messages from loved ones can be profoundly healing. However, a mediumship reading cannot replace the physical, daily, loving presence of your loved one. It can offer reassurance and confirmation that they remain part of your life, even if you're unaware of it. Over time, you may become attuned to their presence and find peace within and carry them in your heart. Death is an inevitable part of our human experience, and losing someone you deeply care for is one of life's most challenging experiences. Yet, our society seldom engages in open conversations about death. Some even avoid mentioning it, considering such discussions as too dark or dramatic, but it's part of our life. We live in an era where living long and avoiding the natural signs of aging is a primary focus, but we cannot evade death. It's impossible. A loss not only brings us face to face with our own mortality, but also awakens fears related to how we will experience death and what will happen when we go into the spirit world. Birth, grief, and death are solitary experiences we will all experience. No one can do it for us, but as we emerge from these experiences, our souls are enriched and we grow spiritually, and we discover that we are part of something far more significant on this journey we call life. And to finish, I would like to share with you a poem that I have written while I was going through the process of grief. And it's called The Journey of Grief. The moment your heart stopped beating, with your last breath taken, bitter tears rolling down my chin and cleansing my paining heart, the soul's shell cracking open like a seed in the rain. The tears are witness of my refusal to let go of your presence, while desperately holding back my old self. And with every teardrop, the shell slowly dissolves, and my true being emerges like a newborn, delicately unfolding, but perfectly complete, with you in my heart, in every raindrop, in each glitter of the snow, in the sun ray touching my skin. There is no separation, there is no death. I'm a committed spiritual medium, teacher, and therapist, and my purpose is to assist individuals in becoming more in tune with their essence of their souls, to support them during periods of grief. If you sense that your soul is guiding you to arrange a spiritual mediumship reading with me, kindly visit my website. You will have the option to schedule online or in-person sessions. I'm based in Geneva, in Switzerland. I'm also deeply honored to be an authorized teacher by Mavis Patilla, and I would be privileged to be part of your evolving spiritual journey should you feel compelled to reach out. Thank you. Take care.